Welcome to class. Today's Dharma is surfing the now. But before I get into what I mean by surfing the now, I just wanted to take one moment to remind you that the early lessons of this course, as I've already said, are really foundational stepping stones to the entire journey. So I wanted to encourage you to take your time with these early lessons, most especially, and make sure that you really understand them. And even more importantly, that you find ways to incorporate the ideas and use them in your daily life. And it is truly the second part of taking these and using the ideas that will transform them from just mere notions to really the profound transformational tools that they are intended to be. In Dharma 1, I talked about how coming back to where you are is really the most primary base practice of spiritual awakening. And if you don't get that right, you are essentially spinning your wheels, to use an old expression. So you're going to be wasting a lot of time going nowhere fast. Perhaps you'll succeed somewhat in transforming your own ego to be more gentle ego, which is admirable in itself, but it's not ultimately going to succeed as far as the profound awakening that this course aims towards. So, learning to take that lesson and expand on it is really a part of today's particular Dharma. So, I'm going to offer you in this video, I'm going to offer you some real insights into what exactly I mean by that. And I'm also going to give you a playful exercise that you can incorporate in your daily life and use to actually learn how to be present and not be projecting in the future or lost in the past, even while you go about the busyness of your ordinary day. And all that's going to be coming right up here in just one moment. As a child, I grew up surfing the waves of Southern California, and one of the first things I learned was that you need to be in the right spot to catch a wave. If you are too far out, the incoming sets are undeveloped swells, and they pass right underneath you no matter how hard you paddle to try to catch a wave. On the other hand, if you are too close to shore, the waves become too steep to catch and may even break right on top of you. So, when trying to catch a wave, there is a sweet spot, or what I call the Goldilocks zone, because it is just right. Not too far out to sea, yet not too close to shore. Catching the present moment is similar. Teachings on present moment awareness abound in spiritual literature, because the present moment is the closest representation of reality we can access from the dimension of time and space. It is, in essence, the threshold of eternity. The interesting thing is, you are always in the present moment. So technically speaking, you are never out of sync with the here and now. Everything you do in the present moment. Every thought you think, even if you happen to be thinking about the future or the past, occurs to you only right now. In this sense, there actually is no past or future, for the past is held only in memory, and a memory is nothing more than a mental phantom. There is no substance to it. Likewise, the future is a psychological projection of what might or might not come to pass. The future itself has no fixed reality, because when a future moment arrives, so to speak, it does so not in the future, but only in the present moment. Perhaps the setting and circumstances of your life have changed, but the correct time is always now. With that in mind, it is equally true that, while you are never apart from the present moment, you can indeed remove yourself from the awareness of it. We do this by engaging in mental fantasies, in which we internally review, sometimes over and over again and in great detail, something that has occurred in the past. It is also worth mentioning that quite often the things that stick out in our minds are past grievances and old unhealed wounds. In these cases, you are not only removing yourself from the majesty and power of the present moment, and now you are filling your mind with painful memories. In other instances, our internal fantasies take on a more future focus, as we get stuck in some random thought loop about something we would like to happen, or, conversely, something unpleasant we pray does not come about. Either way, we get caught up in a mental fantasy that removes us from awareness of reality. In fact, we spend an incredible amount of time lost in thought. The average human being has tens of thousands of thoughts cross their mind every day, and left unregulated, this pattern will continue from early childhood until death. If we spend our lives this way, we are not really living. Essentially, we are existing in a sort of dream state in which we are completely disconnected from reality. Furthermore, if we examine the negative nature of so much human thought, we may finally come to realize why it is so many of us feel depressed and anxious all the time. Getting back to our surfing analogy, when you are thinking of the future, it is like being too far out to sea when trying to catch a wave. You are dreamily staring out at the horizon and are not paying attention to what's happening around you. On the other hand, when you are focused on the past, this is like being too close to shore. The past is a turbulent place, filled with disappointment, betrayals, fights, embarrassing moments, loss, guilt, and regrets. Even pleasant memories are usually shadowed by nostalgic melancholy, which qualifies as a minor form of depression, because those happy moments are gone forever and can never be revived. They are like ghosts, with no present reality. Thus, when you live in the past, you are dwelling in a graveyard. The first step in handling this dilemma is to become aware of just how much time you spend thinking of the past and future. If you wish to attain peace and self-realization, I recommend becoming a watchdog of your mental activity. We must focus on our own mind first, because that is all we ever really have control over. No matter how much we would like at times, we cannot predictably control other people's behavior, nor the random events of our lives and the world at large. Furthermore, it is really our own thoughts and reactions to outside events and people that cause us the most suffering, even if this doesn't seem to be the case at times. In any event, there is nothing else in the world, or even in our own lives for that matter, which we can fully predict or control beyond our own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Besides minding your mental activity and patterns, the second exercise I encourage you to develop is your skill surfing the now. This is a practice not only meant for formal meditation, but for everyday life as well. See if you can find the Goldilocks zone where the present moment continuously unfolds, and catch it like surfing a wave, even while going about the busyness of the day. Ground yourself in the here and now by attaching a small bit of your awareness to your physical body, the sensations of your respiratory process, the feeling of the chair beneath you, or any other tangible sight, sound, or sensation. If it helps, try making this practice into a sort of mental game. How long can you maintain at least a small amount of your attention on the present here and now, even while you are busy doing other things? The moment your mind begins weaving a story from the past or drifting off into future uncertainties, you have lost the present moment and missed the wave. However, when this happens, try not to get frustrated. Becoming aware of being lost in thought is a fantastic success in itself. By practicing this way over and over, you will gradually build up your ability to stay present, just as a bodybuilder repeatedly lifts and lowers weights in order to build muscle. I'd like to add just one more thing here. The present moment is not a fine point you need to struggle to balance on, like a surfboard. It is far more forgiving than that. In fact, being a reflection of reality itself, the present here and now is vast and wide and wholly accommodating. The moment you turn your attention back to it, you instantly reconnect. There is no struggle in this process. Thank you so much for joining me.